Hey everyone, it's Nicholas Wilton at Art2Life. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. I thought I would share something with you, and I don't know if it's going to land or make sense to you, and it's just something that I do more and more and more, and I think it's kind of cool. So I'll try and explain it. When I'm painting and I'm covering things up and I'm changing things and modifying things, because I'm layering, putting other things, we change things all the time. But the way I cover things back up and change things ends up creating kind of there's cool benefits to the way you kind of do it. So what I'm talking about is a kind of like I create lines a lot of time. Like I deal with, shapes and big areas and loose areas, but lines are fantastic, right? And so we can take a pencil or a crayon and we can draw on our board. But one of the challenging things with painting is that if you want to do a spontaneous, really light line or have a really contrasty line, I don't ever want to take out a little paintbrush and paint this painstaking line. So how I do it often is I do it by leaving areas exposed when I cover up. So check this out. This area, okay, right here, see that shape, that line? That was created because there's a lighter background, and then the two things meet, but they don't quite meet. This area down here, this is a perfect example. See the line going around that? That's created because I'm leaving some background. And some of the best parts of this painting that starts to make it feel finished are those lines. So like up here, you can see right here, do you see how that kind of line, I didn't paint that, I've left that. And so it kind of works really beautifully if you're doing that and you're, as you're kind of going, it creates these thin lines. So for example, this line is a big fat paint stroke, and I want to make it more refined. So what I do is I'll take the same value background, or the same background, and I'll come in and I'll paint it out, but I can leave this skinny thin line, see, and it's really fast. And now I have this really skinny line here that starts to make the work feel more finished because it's refined, but you saw how quickly I did that. It's just, so I'm always covering things up, but I'm leaving little thin lines, and that's what gives your work a finished quality. Like the work, even as you're figuring it out, things are happening. I don't know if you can see it, but even in this area here, I've covered up this green. This was green here. You can see these little artifacts. This is detail. These lines used to be dark green, and then I covered them up with gray, but I deliberately am leaving a little bit of that background. Anyway, it's just something to be thinking about, because as you're painting, you're using that contrast of line. So anyway, that's just something that I've actually never even talked about it, which is amazing to me. And drips do the same thing, right? Like a drip is a line. I love things that are easy to do, that add richness and add differences to the work. So anyway, let me know in the comments if this even makes sense, or if you do this. It's kind of about repainting the same shapes and using two of the same value, but then having a different value underneath, and you can draw shapes and lines. It's pretty cool. I have a cool podcast coming out this week. It's all about finishing. And I know I get this question a lot, and a podcast seems kind of like a crazy place to be talking about it because I'm not really showing it. But there's a lot of psychology in finishing, and there's a lot of information about how to finish and where we kind of get hung up. And so I just share a whole bunch of ideas on that. So please come check it out. One of the things, I'm just thinking of like a cool thing. Here's what I've noticed about finishing, because I get stuck with it. Do you notice how you slow down, and then you slow down? Is it finished? You keep going and it just drags. I swear to God, if you were given half the time to finish a picture, and you ended up, you would probably do it twice as fast, and it probably would be better. We spend way too long trying to make something finished. And so there's some ideas here that can just make the whole process feel a little easier and just get you to be like, it's done and I'm moving on. So anyway, come check that out. There's a link down below. You can subscribe. And I super appreciate you being here. And I hope you get into the studio today and you have some fun making art. All right. Thanks, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, everyone. If you found this helpful, I have a whole lot more to teach, share, and inspire you with every single week. So join the Art2Life YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Okay, let's do this. Awesome.